In Muslim families, when somebody becomes religious, when somebody starts praying 5 times, a girl starts wearing hijab now, they start learning and going to halaqas now and things like that. Now they're watching like Islamic YouTube videos and downloading podcasts and things like that. When they start doing that, the rest of the family starts getting worried. So a lot of times people have the impression that when you become serious about the religion, that you become very harsh and you become very judgmental. The girl that wears hijab judges the girls that don't wear hijab. The guy that has the beard judges the guys that don't have the beard. The guy who prays looks down on the people who don't pray, that kind of thing. The first thing you have to break is you're never judgmental. You're never coming down on them about that stuff. And understand that those behaviors, somebody doesn't pray, somebody doesn't wear hijab, somebody doesn't, read Quran, things like that, those are all symptoms. That's behavior on the outside. The most important thing, I keep saying, I don't get tired of saying it, the most important thing to change is attitudes on the inside. And the attitudes will only change if they see that you have become a better person because of religion. Like as a result of it, you're nicer than you ever were. You're more helpful around the house than you ever were. You're more patient than you ever were. You don't raise your voice anymore. You used to get angry. You don't get angry anymore. When your mom calls you, you don't say, I'm busy right now. I can't talk right now. You don't do that anymore. You're more accessible. That breaks the stereotype. It breaks the stereotype. And then it makes them want to, actually slowly but surely, they'll start coming to you and saying, hey, so is there a dua you can tell me? I'm going through a problem. I have an exam coming up. Is there a special dua you can tell me or something? And then you're like, okay, I guess, But at least now they're coming to you. Even that's not the time. By the way, you only want duas when you have an exam, but all the time, the rest of the time, you don't even care about prayer. No. No reason to slap anybody. Just chill out. Okay, let me tell you a dua. And also, you know what? If you got up for Fajr that morning, it'll help you. Just slip it in. Just a little bit. Because then they're like, okay, I'll do that. At least this person prayed Fajr now. Even if it was for an exam. And maybe they tasted the sweetness of that prayer and they'll come to it themselves. That's the final bit of this. You have to understand, when it comes to the deen of Allah, people have to come to it themselves. You have to make the road easy. You cannot push them to it. They have to arrive at it themselves. This is the beauty of Islam. And that's the most frustrating thing, because in family, we feel like we should have some more control. In family, we'd like to see people change the way we want them to see changed. And that's the hardest thing, like for example, for parents. I have kids, they're little right now. If I tell them to do something, they better do it. But when Husna is 18 years old, when Waliya is 20 years old, when these girls are bigger, they're going to have a mind of their own. And it's going to be very hard for me to just tell them what to do. And even if I do, at that point, it won't mean anything if I force them to pray. That's not really prayer. Allah does not want sajda on the ground and you don't actually have anything in your heart. You can advise, you can use the right opportunity, find the right time, but don't be overbearing. People shouldn't see you as every time they see me, they start dropping a speech. That shouldn't be the case. Chill out. Turn the switch off sometimes. Actually, most of the time. Only turn it off at the best possible time. This is the last bit of this. You want to be able to show your family and actually the larger world that you could just be a normal person. You could be a cool person and still hold on to this faith. It doesn't have to make you socially awkward. It doesn't have to make you judgmental of others. It doesn't have to make you like the haram police. You don't have to turn into that stuff. The religion can make your life really beautiful. And that's the impression that we have to now give to the world. That is really the PR that we have to do, especially to our own families. And by the way, if we fail with our own families, forget about giving it to the rest of the world. We talk about how the world has a misconception about Islam. I would argue my own family has misconceptions about Islam. If I can't win that battlefield, forget about the rest of the world. So I pray that we don't lose our sense of urgency, but understand how that's supposed to come out on the outside. There's a lot of emotions on the inside, but only beautiful emotions are supposed to come out on the outside. Last bit, I tell you what Yaqub alayhi salam said. Let's think about this as I leave this halaqah. When his sons come to him with a shirt with blood, right? Now imagine if you're the father, right? And your son comes to you with a broken rear view mirror from the car. Dad, what's going to happen next? You're going to die. There's going to be an imprint on your skull in the shape of a rear view mirror. What does Yaqub alayhi salam say? فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Beautiful patience. That's the strangest phrase in the entire Quran, I would argue. Beautiful patience? What? You know what that means? This is a very ugly situation. What you have done is one of the most hideous, disgusting things I can imagine. The emotions I have inside of me cannot be described as beautiful. But what should come out of me is what? That patience manifesting itself in beautiful things. I need to keep my cool on the outside. I ask Allah for that patience to remain beautiful.
How Noah did his da'wah with me, indirectly, and I know he did. I think I want to go on the angle of wearing the hijab first. He sat down with me and he actually just told me a little bit about the hijab. He said, Sayang, do you think you ever wear the hijab? This is what the hijab is about. And as a husband, I'm just letting you know, I'm not forcing you to do it. If you want to do it, alhamdulillah. If you don't want to do it, I support you. And I think having patience is key, because that's what he had with me. I think, not forcing is also another big key. You cannot force a person to do something they don't want to do, and never giving up. Never giving up on each other to become a better Muslim. At times, I may slip, sometimes he may slip, but we need each other to pull each other up again and to move forward. And I think that's the beauty of our relationship. I think that's why Allah put us together, SubhanAllah.